Right.
All right, let's get into our love story. Can anybody tell me where you think this is right here?
The Bahamas?
That's right. That's right, Kansas. Topeka, Kansas. No, that is Hawaii. Everyone say Hawaii.
Hawaii.
That's great. That's great.
Who's been to Hawaii here? Raise your hand.
Nice. Respect.
Good job.
Respect. Nice. Well done. All right, hands on. All right, now this is the time just to listen. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit of my backstory since there are a bunch of new students and you probably don't know who I am. My name, of course, is John. My first name is not Pastor. It is John Breland III. My mother and father are the lead pastors of this church. They started this church. In 2010, we moved here from a great town in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We moved here to Mobile. Grew up going to Faith Academy after that. Loved it. Played ball with Sam Baker back there. We all know Sam. Love him. Had to retire early because they needed me at church. So it is what it is. But yeah, went to one semester at the University of Mobile. Just couldn't do it because it was too much like Faith Academy. And so I switched to a Bible college up in Birmingham. That's where I got my learning from, theology degree and all that stuff in Birmingham. Came back down here, graduated in 2017. Started doing all this youth ministry stuff. Started cleaning toilets and mopping the floors every day. Just kind of working my way up. And in 2019, I was going through have you guys ever gone through the motions of life? You get through the motions, you get stuck in this rut, right? I was in that rut. I felt like I was doing the exact same thing every single day. I had no joy in my life. Literally, I don't remember if I smiled or laughed for an entire year. I was completely off. And so my grandfather, many of you back there know him from YWAM. My grandfather, he said, "Hey, John, let's go eat lunch today and let's talk about your future." And I was like, "Okay, fine. Pops, I love you, so I'll go." So we met at a Mexican restaurant that is no longer there, sadly. And he said, "Hey, John, I feel like there's no joy in your life. I can't see joy in your eyes." And I said, "Well, Pops, that's what's happening. I don't have joy right now." And he said, "Well, John, I have this wonderful opportunity for you to go and stay in Hawaii for a couple of months, figure out what you want to do, who you are, try to get your joy back in the right way, in an atmosphere that is life-giving." And so that's kind of how I heard about this Hawaii trip that I went on. What about you?
Yeah, so a little bit about me is I was born in Ukraine, kind of grew up in Washington State mostly. I spent my whole life there. I have 3 younger siblings, kind of grew up in like a broken family. Like it was just my mom, my dad was not around. And so like, I feel like I had to grow up really fast as the oldest sibling. Maybe some of you guys can relate to that. And life was pretty good. It was like, I was not like the other kids just because I had a lot more responsibilities on me. But I didn't really mind. But later on in the years, like things just happened and my family was just going through a lot of hurt and I tried to help that hurt. And oftentimes I would find myself trying to control or trying to help my family to the extent where I was like wearing myself thin. I didn't really even know who I was. I was just kind of like, my whole life was my family. And so I knew that I needed to work on myself, on my relationship with God, because really like I had God in my back pocket. And growing up in church, like I just didn't see God as someone that you could have an actual like friendship with. I just saw someone who like told all the rules. And so I just kept him in my back pocket. After a few years though, I definitely like sought out Jesus and who he was, and he changed my life in so many great, amazing ways and still is. And I started carrying Christ right here in front of me. And that meant, you know, losing friends sometimes and going through really hard stuff and the enemy attacking you day after day. But I just felt like as long as I had God, I had all I needed. But I was still that person who I really never just worked on myself. I was always trying to help my family. And so one day, my friend Kristina, she was my best friend, which is really funny. We're both Kristina. But her sister went to Hawaii, and then she came back and told us about it. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of fun. Like, I might want to do something like that. Because, you know, my family situation wasn't so good. And so I'm like, I kind of need to step away anyways. And at the moment, I thought, like, oh, I'm going there just to enjoy Hawaii, which was part of it. But then God ended up just doing so much more than I could.
That's right. So we went to Hawaii, and then we went to a place called YWAM. Everyone say YWAM. It's Youth with a Mission. And so we served at the college there in Kailua Kona in the Big Island of Hawaii. And so that's how we got to Hawaii.
John and I did not know each other.
Did not know each other at all. Yeah,
we went
I'm from
separately,
Mobile.
but at
That's
the same
right.
time.
That's right. So we get there. I think we have, do we have any pictures of Hawaii? Throw up that first slide. Let's see. All right, so this is where I worked. And so in the university, you go there for free, but you have to serve at the college. And so we worked at the college. And so you get 3 options. You put your top 3. And of course, I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be in landscaping because I was like, who doesn't want to be outside in Hawaii all day for 3 months? Really fun. Super, super cool opportunity. But I also loved the cafe because you guys know me. I drink a ton of coffee. I worked at Starbucks, all sorts of things. And so I got the prized job to work at the cafe. And so that's the job I did for 3 months in Hawaii. Tell us about your job.
I really wanted the cafe. I was also into coffee. I worked at Starbucks in Washington, and the 3 choices I just chose coffee, I think it was daycare, and then I chose the kitchen. But of course, I'm like, I just really want coffee, and surely they will let me work at coffee since I already do. But guess what? I ended up doing the kitchen, which was good. It worked out for the best because, you know, it reminds me of a Bible verse. Let's see. So, in Isaiah 55:8, I thought about this because I was so true to this situation. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." And at that point, that was like the truest thing because I was like, kitchen? Like, that was my last choice. But it was amazing what God did through me serving in the kitchen.
Yeah, so at YWAM, you get to serve, but then you also have all these opportunities to grow closer to God. It is an amazing atmosphere of just people who absolutely love God with all their heart, and it's just a really cool thing. And so going to Hawaii, I was going there for something different. I was trying to find joy. I was trying to find out who I am, and Kristina was trying to go there to figure out, you know, I need God in the front of my life. And so I thought of a verse, Matthew 6:33, it says, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." And so we went to Hawaii, yes, to have fun, but then second, to figure out, hey, why am I like this? How can God use me in this life? How can he help me? So we went there seeking his face. And I think we found it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had a few pictures of me in the kitchen, so if you could throw that up. Yeah. So that's me serving in the kitchen back in the day, 2019. It was so fun. Honestly, I got to work with all my friends, and I made really good friends there. And although it was very hot at times, yeah, that's me calling my mom to ask her for the recipe to borscht. Because we one day made borscht, which is this Slavic drink for everybody, or Slavic soup for everybody who attended YWAM. So yeah, that's me calling my mom asking for help, and she definitely helped me.
That's right. So YWAM, we get to serve every day, but then after that, you get to just explore Hawaii. And so, of course, I'm going to Hawaii with no joy, but I also am single, right? I'm also I might as well look, I might as well see if there's any, hotties there. I mean, it is what it is. They're saved. Let's see if there's any hotties. And so it's a big bunch. There was probably, 35 of us, 40? There's a bunch of us. From Germany, South Africa,
All over the world.
we're Sweden, the Netherlands. Literally all over the world. It was like a melting pot, and you get to live. I lived with a Canadian.
And I lived with
a
a Finnish person.
You lived with a what?
Finnish.
A Finnish, that's right.
A Finnish girl. She was amazing.
And so I, of course, went with my twin sister. Anybody know Anna in here? We love Anna. We love Anna. So I went with my twin sister, and so a bunch of people, including you, thought we were dating or like married.
So someone told
Which is
me,
just
I was like,
freaking
oh, I
odd.
haven't seen them before. And they're like, yeah, they're this Australian couple.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Because, like, you know, they didn't faze me. Everybody was from everywhere. I was like, they kind of look the same.
Yeah,
but, you know,
Australian.
it's
Where did they
okay.
get that? It's
But,
so
yeah,
odd.
I thought they were, like, dating. And, like, so I kind of just turned my eye away.
Yeah,
from
so we're getting to know everyone. I'm trying to, figure out who I am and talk to everyone. And so show the picture of Kristina on the moped. And so if you can see it right here, let's see, right there. So we used mopeds to get around the island. The island is super, not small, but it is small too.
You could get around the
America.
whole island in 4 hours.
Yeah. So it's super small. So you rode mopeds around, and I saw this smoking hot babe fly by on a blue moped without a helmet. I was like, dude, that's sick. Helmets are for losers, right? Helmets are dumb. I hate wearing a helmet when I ride my motorcycle here. So I was like, that's cool that she's not. And she actually got in trouble from a pastor saying you should wear a helmet, but she still didn't. So I see this dangerous girl fly by on a moped. I'm like, dang, who is that? Like, this is sick, dog. I was like, we're going. I didn't even do what I did. I should have gotten the screenshot. I'll tell you that in a second. So I'm like trying to now figure out who this is, right? I'm like, all right, what's the name? Where are they from? So I figure all that out. And then I see her walking out of the local Target. And I just bought like a new bicycle because I was like, I might as well work out a little bit, ride a little bit. So I'm rolling out. And then Kristina and Kristina come out of Target. I'm like, dang, there she is. All right. So I was like, hey, I'm going down to the pier to like watch the luau. Like all the tourists have like a big luau they go to right on the pier. And so I was like, do you guys want to come and hang out? And so they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I run my bike down there and I'm like sweating at that point. I'm like, all right, dude, you have to turn it on if you're going to do it, bro. And so we hang out a little bit that night, or I guess like evening. And so there was like curfews and everything at YWAM, so we had to go back to our separate bunks and everything. And so I'm like, all right, I got to find this girl on Instagram. So I did the rule that you shouldn't do? I don't know. I did what most men wouldn't have done. I found her on Instagram, followed her, and then immediately DM'd her. Yeah. On my Instagram page, it's somewhere down there. One of our anniversaries, it's down there. And I literally was like, hey, you're too pretty. Life is too short. Let's get this thing popping, dog. Like, straight off the bat, not exact verbiage.
Not
but
that
something
exact.
very close to that. It's on the Instagram. Go find it. And so I was like, dude, she's way too pretty. And there are other dudes that are like normal looking. I mean, not as hot as me, but I mean, like, no, I'm kidding. Jeez, learn to laugh. But I was like, I'm not wasting time. So I DM her and then tell him what you did.
Okay, well, yeah, he slid into the DMs, even though we were like right there.
It worked, y'all.
But it did work, yes, it did. Well, let me tell you. So first, of course, I thought they were like dating and everything. I thought he was off the market. But I really, to be honest, going into YWAM, into Hawaii, I was like trying to be distraction free because I was like, that's it. I'm pursuing God with all my heart. And God did a lot in me and through me in the beginning, like few weeks. And so I was just pursuing him wholeheartedly, not even looking around. I noticed John a couple times, but I was trying to keep, like, I couldn't help but notice you. But I tried to, like, kind of avert my eyes the other way because I was like, God, no, like, no distractions, la, la, la. But then I found out that he was indeed single, and I was like, ooh, look at this Hollister model. I was like, he's so cute, but I thought he had a thing for my friend Kristina because we always hung out together. And so to be honest, like I just assumed that he hung out with us, that he went to her birthday because he liked her. But then later that night when he sent a DM, I received it on my phone, and like some of you girls might relate, I literally threw my phone at my friends. I was like, just read this for me. I can't open it. I can't read it. And yeah, so he was very open. He didn't say what's poppin', but he did ask for my number. He said he didn't have my number, so he wanted to ask for it. And I was like, dang, like I haven't met a guy who's so like upfront and direct. And I was like, well, sure, like we'll hang out. We'll see how this goes.
That's right. If anyone knows me, I'm very direct. So if I need to say something to someone's face, I will say it directly to their face, and I won't put emotions or your feelings into any play. I'll say it how it is. So we start hanging out. We start touring the island together with our friends and stuff, going up to the volcano, the whole nine. It was super, super fun. So we got there in June, right?
Yeah.
So we get there in June. The whole month of June, we don't really talk, but then at the end, we kind of start talking. And then on 4th of July, it was the 4th of July party, and it was pouring down rain at our party. And so I'm trying to, get closer to her to, see what's up, because the entire time I was trying to text her, be like, hey, where are you? You coming to this party? You hanging out? She wasn't texting me back. So I'm like, dude, you're going to do this to me on America's greatest day? You're going to do this to on 4th of July? And so, you know how I am. I tried to, finesse her, and I made my really good sweet tea. If you guys ever had my sweet tea, it's like you can chew on my sweet tea. It's so good. And so, there's a bunch of, up north states, other countries, and so they weren't used to the southern sweet tea. And so they were all like, this is disgusting. And so that was another attitude where it's like, all right, the chick's not taking me back, and now they hate my sweet tea. And, this is the worst 4th of July I've ever had. And so I walk up to her because I'm like, all right, dude, I'm not gonna play this game in my head. I'm like, yo, what's up? Are you good? You're not texting me? And what did you say?
I said, hey, I accidentally left my phone in the kitchen back on base.
Left her phone in the kitchen. And so I'm like, well, crap, I'll run and get it for you.
It was pouring down rain. And he's like, I'll go run and grab it for you. I'm like, you don't have to do that.
Right. I was like, so you don't hate me. I didn't want to say that exactly, but I was like, so you're still...
You told me, you're like, I thought you were ignoring me. And
Yeah,
I was like, oh no, I didn't mean for
horrible
that
feeling.
at all.
It's a horrible feeling. So after that, 4th of July, we started talking a little more. We started trying to figure out what this was going to become. And it quickly became boyfriend and girlfriend, right?
Yes.
That's right, baby. That's right. Where did I ask you?
But listen, so we definitely prayed about it because both of us came in knowing that we wanted to put God first. That was the whole thing. He wanted to put God first, and I did too. And so we were both like, okay, let's just pray and see if we want this to be a relationship. But we ended up just clicking so fast, and I liked everything about him. He told me he was a youth pastor, and I was like, at first I didn't believe him. I was like, yeah, right, youth pastor.
Well, at the time I painted my fingernails. I don't know why. I had painted fingernails, and I would skateboard and
well, yeah,
bike
and he was
to places.
He had tattoos, and that's not what I was used to.
Yep.
I thought youth pastors were supposed to be kind of fatter, kind of
there.
ugly, but he was a very good looking guy, and so I was like, you gotta prove it to me, and he did, and I was like, wow, that just. Anyways, I always wanted a youth pastor as a husband, and I thought that was so funny that God introduced me to you. But where were we again?
Right. So we started dating. Everything was going well, but then guess what? We broke up.
Ooh.
Yeah. We broke up.
Hold on.
Not once,
But
twice. Literally broke up twice in a matter of 2 weeks. And the first time it was something on your plate.
Yes.
And the second time it was something on mine, right?
Yeah.
Then at the end we kind of got back together. We took a long walk, and we tried to figure out. We talked. We prayed about it and said, hey, what do we need to do?
Well, to go into it just a tiny bit, I made the first move to break up just because I was not sure that this is what God wanted for me, and I thought I didn't deserve anything good just because growing up the way I did. I was like, there's surely I don't know, this is kind of good, too good to be true. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it before I get really deep feelings for this guy. And so I did it, and then we got together because I walked with him and I was like, I think I made a mistake. Because as soon as I did, I just felt it in my heart, I was losing something. But it was weird. So I talked to him and we got back together, and then it was his turn.
Right. She said she didn't like my sweet tea, so I immediately broke it off. I'm just kidding. Why did I break up with you? I really don't remember.
I think it's because you got hurt, and so you kind of was we're still hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
But he gave me a chance, but he was still hurting. And so he decided to break up with me. I cried for like 10 minutes at Starbucks and then got over it. But
10 minutes, that's it?
yeah, I did. I was like, I'm going home. But I ended up being convinced by friends to stay a little longer. And then he said that I was walking out of the kitchen and he felt like he saw his wife walking. And so he wanted to pursue me again. We did go on a very long walk, talk it all out.
Like
We prayed about it
miles.
for a couple days, got together, and it was like things were just so amazing.
Right. So after that, the up and downs, we started putting God first in our relationship, right? We started pursuing Him as we pursued each other, right? So seeking Him, Acts 17:27 says, God did this so that they would seek Him and perhaps reach out for Him and find Him, though He is not far from any one of us. And so we went through these ups and downs in our relationships, but we figured out, man, if we want this relationship to last, we have to do it the right way.
Absolutely.
We have to do it God's way. So maybe in the beginning, we weren't doing it in God's way. Maybe we were just trying to force it, ready? And then we said, hey, you know what? Let's give it all to God and see if this is in His will.
Yeah.
And so we did that. We were there in Hawaii for only 3 months. So at the end of 3 months, we had to go back home, right? So I, of course, live in Mobile, and Kristina lived in Seattle, which if you know anything about those states, they're polar opposites, right? So it's a pretty far time to drive or fly. And so I was like, man, I don't want to do long distance relationship because in Hawaii, we spent every single day together, literally every single day. We rode to work together. We went to the beach together. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. And so I just didn't want to do long distance. And of course, in Hawaii, we were already talking about marriage. We were saying, hey, because we just felt something. We felt that God was directing our relationship. And so she goes home to Seattle. I come back to Mobile. And we do a long distance relationship for what? How long? A month?
Yeah.
Maybe a
it's
month.
Yeah.
So then I called her and I said, hey, I'll buy you a ticket down here if you want to come see me. And you said,
Yeah. I was like, yeah,
of
I'll come
course.
see you.
Wink, wink. I'll buy you a ticket just to hang out. So on October 25th, right?
Yeah.
So you come down the day before. I was a great liar. I was like, we're going to go to the Grand Hotel. I'll show you around. We can eat dinner. But then the next day, I'm gonna take you to a nicer place, which of course the Grand Hotel is beautiful. So I was just lying to think she was going to think that I was going to propose the next day. And so go ahead and throw that one picture up there. On the Grand Hotel on October 25th, on a cloudy day, I decided to propose to Kristina. It's great. What is it? It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
And I said yes.
Yes, it is. It was
Absolutely.
great.
Well, I wanted to add something before. It's because so in the beginning, it's like we're either dating to get married or dating to break up, right? And so if you're dating a person right now and you don't see them being your future husband or your future wife, it's probably not worth it. Because John and I, that's why we were so good, because we really saw each other being in each other's lives, and we were like, I don't know, we were just going after the right things together, and we just clicked. We just knew, and we knew that we were supposed to be together. And so, yeah. So that's why I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, I couldn't wait. He captivated me. I was like, that's it. I'm going to marry this guy.
Yeah, so October 25th, we go ahead and get proposed, and then another month later, she comes down and moves into what would be our apartment in November, right after Thanksgiving. And then December 7th, we get married. Go ahead and throw that picture up right there. Look at that. Aww.
Your head's cut off.
I'm too tall for the LED screen.
He's way too tall.
And throw up that next one. Of course, you know I'm a church kid, so we got married in the old church building for $0. It was very nice.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Shh. And so we did that. So we met in June of 2019, and then we got married in December 2019.
6 months. So it doesn't take
Yeah.
long to find
Right.
the one who you're supposed to be with.
Like I've
You
always
just
said,
gotta know.
like I've always said, when you know, you know.
And like that verse said, you have to put God first. You have to go after him. And when you're going on your road, on your race towards his kingdom, you'll end up finding somebody who's racing right next to you. And that's how you know it's the one. Someone who won't have you go through speed bumps or having to turn aside, but someone who's riding right there next to you. And so, yeah, we found someone who was riding right next to us, and we just did it. We got married.
And who would have thought that a little kid born in Oilton, Oklahoma, and a little girl that was born in Ukraine would fly and meet in the middle of the ocean on the island of Hawaii, and then 6 months later get married? It made me think of the verse that says, Proverbs 69, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. I could have never imagined or believed or written this up in a storybook that this would be how I would meet my wife. Would have never imagined it. But I seeked God, and he put me in a perfect position to meet her.
Yeah, and you know, back in the beginning, we came there for a reason. He was trying to find joy. I was trying to find God's love. Not only did I find God's love, but I found someone who would love me like God wants them to love me. And I couldn't imagine that that would ever happen, is that God wanted to be so good that he would let me go to Hawaii, the most beautiful place, and then also just make me feel so overwhelmed with love and meeting the right guy who he was on the right road, and he's exactly what I needed. And so I thank God all the time for you, honey.
So in 6 months, we went from not knowing who we are, having no joy, having no direction in our life. In 6 months, we went to finding all of that, not just within each other, but within God.
Yeah.
It says, Psalm 16:11, you make known the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. And so when we do the relationship God's way, we don't rely on our own attributes or any of that. God directs your path exactly where you need to go. Yeah. And of course, go ahead and show those pictures of our family now. And of course, you guys know little Biddy right here, little John. He's great. And if you don't have joy in your life, go listen to a tiny little baby try to say words and walk. It brings the biggest smile to your face. In fact, last night we were trying to go to sleep. It was like 11:30. I had to go upstairs. John was crying, so I tried to put him back to sleep. Couldn't. Brought him back down, and so he was wide awake at midnight. So Kristina had like a half-eaten Chick-fil-A cookie on the side table. So little John spotted it. He spotted the cookie and he crawled over and he started eating it. Then he turned on his little Shaun the Sheep TV show and he was just going like this, just like looking around. Like in a moment before, he was bawling his face off.
It was like 2 a.m.
going crazy. And then he's just eating chocolate cookie and all that stuff. And so it's just, when you do relationships the right way, your life can just become so much more.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy to think that a couple years ago I didn't have any of this, and now I get to have it all. And it's such a blessing. Listen to this. This was Romans 8:28. It says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Mm-hmm. So if you're sitting out there tonight and you're saying, Pastor John, that is a wonderful story. I wonder if God has something like that in mind for you. Well, I say if you follow God, if you're on fire for him, not lukewarm, if you take the right steps in relationship, not trying to skip steps, yeah, I can assure you God has some amazing story out there for each and every one of you. Mm-hmm. And it's your decision if you want to take it or not.
Yeah, I would say you need to try and pursue God with all your heart. And you will never be disappointed when you do, because when you do, you feel his real love. Like, you think your parents love you, you think maybe your friend loves you, but he loves you so much that it covers you, that it literally overflows from you onto other people. And so I would just say, pursue God with all your heart. Listen to him, trust him, and pray, and know that he's got your hands, and he's got your life in his hands, and he's gonna direct you and show you exactly where you need to go and what you need to do. And as long as you stick right next to him, he will add on, like that verse said, he would add on all these things to you. So you don't have to worry about, oh, who am I going to marry? What is my life going to look like? What college am I going to? What's going to happen with my family? Because he already knows all of that. All you got to do is just trust him with your whole heart and give your whole heart to him, and watch the amazing miracles he's going to do in your life.
That's right. And I just said, of course, you can't skip steps in relationships, but you also can't skip steps in life.
Right.
And of course, you know that this is a church, this is a youth group. And so if you want to have your relationships right, you first have to have the most important relationship right. It's your relationship with yourself and God.
Yeah.
If you don't have that relationship right, all of your other relationships are going to be so out of whack.
Right.
Because you're what? You're trying to skip a step. You're trying to do it your way. So tonight we just wanted to share you our story, saying that, hey, God's got some wild things out there for you if you do it his way. But if you're sitting there tonight and you're thinking, hey, Pastor John, I need to get my first relationship right. I've been not really trying. I've been doing the wrong things in my life, skipping steps in relationships. I need to get the most important one correct. Go ahead and bow your heads and close your eyes. So tonight in here, if you heard this story, you're saying, Pastor John, maybe I have no joy right now. Maybe I think that my family struggles are all on me. Maybe I've been a lukewarm Christian. Maybe I've not had reverence for the things of God. Whatever it may be, you first have to get the first relationship right. So in just a moment, I do this every week. I'm going to give you an opportunity to say, you know what, I want to do this one right. I have to. It's life or death. So in just a moment, I'm asking you to raise your hands with no one looking around. If you feel it in your heart and your soul, a tugging, maybe Jesus is knocking on your heart saying, hey, let me in. Only you can make that choice. So on the count of three, with no one looking around, just raise your hand so I can see. Ready? 1, 2, 3. It's awesome. You have to get this one right first. It's amazing. Go and put your hands down. So I'm gonna say a prayer, and I'm gonna have you repeat it after me. You have to, of course, take this prayer and you have to mean it. This isn't just a get out of hell free card. This is you're either all in or you're all out. So repeat this after me. It doesn't have to be out loud. Say, dear God, thank you for sending me your son, Jesus. Jesus, thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. Lord, come into my heart and change me. Forgive me of my past. Help me to follow you today. Help me to get this relationship right before I try others. Direct my path. I want to know you more. In your mighty name. Dear God, thank you for these students tonight. Thank you for the relationships that you've given us, the times that you've directed our path when we didn't know where to go. Jesus, heal our hearts if we had some brokenness. Help us to follow you. In your mighty name we pray. Amen. Amen and amen. All right, hey, if you are like in high school and you can drive, if you're interested in YWAM or the Kukua Crew, what we did, please come talk to us after. It is a fantastic opportunity. Don't leave yet. It is a fantastic opportunity. If you can literally drive, yeah. No. Shh. Hey, remember next week is what? First Wednesday.
One more thing before you guys all go. Shh, just 1 second, please. If you guys ever want to talk to any of the leaders, please feel free to. If you're going through a relationship that's pretty rough or you need some advice, please come to me. I would love to try to help you out with that and pray with you about that. So just feel free to come to us and we'll be happy to help you.
That's right.
And, yeah.
We love you guys. We're thankful for you. All the girls go out. All the boys stay in just for a second. I'd talk to you afterwards. So girls, go ahead and go out.